Hi there. In this video session, I wanted to talk to you about something that's been on my mind for some time, and how investors and agents are hurting homeowners in foreclosure, especially when it comes to doing short sales. And I'm going to be talking about that shortly. My name is Paul Kim. And we help homeowners, agents, attorneys, and people that are in foreclosure or are helping people in foreclosure, especially with the short sale. And we are third parties that help process and negotiate short sales. All right. In this video, in this session, I wanted to talk to you about something that's been bothering me for some time. And it's not something that's been bothering me, but it's something that I think is not talked about, or something that's been happening is that how investors and agents, especially those that are not competent in doing or handling situations in foreclosures, and also investors that are working with homeowners in foreclosures doing short sales. And the problem comes into play is that as an investor who's purchasing or has under contract to purchase a property from a homeowner, through whether it's in foreclosure, and they're trying to purchase the property, and the investor wants the price of that property at a low price. And the problem comes into play is that if the bank when you do a short sale, the bank has to approve, and the bank wants the property at a higher price, at this price. And so the problem comes in is that the investor will hold on to that property, or will whether dispute or to hold off as long as possible to try to get that property at a low price, and prolong this process of dealing with the bank. And then when it comes to them, when it comes, then it becomes too late for the homeowner when the sheriff's sale comes, and then now it's like you don't have time to really sell this property, or to move this property, and to help the homeowners, because at the end of the day, the homeowners need to sell this property and do a short sale to get it approved. And so that's where the dilemma comes in. And on the other side, where agents are kind of not necessarily incompetent, but they're working possibly with the investor, and they also have a fiduciary obligation to the homeowners, but at the same time the agent might be incompetent, and they don't know how to deal with the investor or the short sale situation. And so I guess and there's really two scenarios that could happen. I mean, it becomes a very difficult situation where a property, things that you really need to understand is that if you're doing a short sale and you're trying to sell this property, you got to really understand whether this property can be sold as a retail or to an investor. Because a property that's in distress, or property that's really in bad condition, cannot be sold to the retail market, because the retail market, most likely the buyer, which is the homeowner, needs to get conventional financing, and conventional financing most likely cannot get. You can't get the financing necessary in order to purchase that property that's maybe all messed up or in really bad shape. And so that's where an investor may need to come in and purchase that property. But sometimes the investor, different investors have different criteria. And so, a good agent will know how to move this property and to be able to get the highest price from the investor. And so and sometimes it's hard to have that clear communication with the investor, because at the end of the day, the investor wants it at a very low price, or as low as possible. But sometimes, the investor may not necessarily take the words from an agent, and so sometimes that's where I have to get involved and communicate and to clarify all this communication between the investor, the homeowner, and the agent. And so this is something that's been happening. A couple of cases that I've had to deal with where I had to communicate directly with the buyer, because we're $100,000 off from what the bank wanted and from what the investor wanted. And so ultimately I had to get in communication with the buyer and basically tell him that this is what the bank wants, and so at the end of the day, the bank wants it at a certain price, and we know to what percentage that they want it at, from the value that the bank has and what the investor wants. And so sometimes we have to kind of be the middle person and kind of make everybody happy, because at the end of the day, we want to help the homeowner. And so, I guess one of the main reason for this video is because one of the things I want to emphasize is that, especially homeowners that are in foreclosure and doing short sales, at the end of the day, the investor and agents and the parties involved need to help the homeowner. And so I hope this video is helpful. If you have any other questions that you may have, write your comments below and let me know if what you think about whether investors or agents are hurting homeowners. I know most agents out there are trying to do their best to help the homeowners, but there are certain situations where incompetency or not being fully aware of what's going on, the whole process of people in foreclosures might damage or hurt the homeowner. All right, so I hope this was helpful. I'll see you next week. Bye.